What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA. Today I wanted to share a very cool marketing campaign with you guys that Bring Me the Horizon is doing for what I guess is their new album. So I'm going to quickly share that campaign with you, but more importantly, after that, I'm going to tell you what it means for you. I'm going to tell you the lessons that we can learn from this about what makes a successful marketing campaign so that you can apply that to your next project. Before I do that, please remember to subscribe to this channel, and if you see any cool marketing campaigns for a band or a company of any kind, please let me know about it. Send me a DM, post about it in my Facebook group, whatever. I love this shit, so please keep it coming. Tell me about the cool shit you guys are seeing. Okay, so the campaign started, I think, a week or two ago in the UK. People started seeing these posters that say, do you want to start a cult with me? Call now, you know, there's an 800 number, and then there's this like weird kind of apocalyptic language there, like an invitation to salvation. And when you call the 800 number, it gets even cooler, even weirder.
Welcome to Mantra. Daniel speaking. Could I take your Earth name, please? Your journey with Mantra begins now, and I'm pleased to be able to share the beginning of your enlightenment with you. What? I think it's freaking over there.
Okay, so now let's talk about what this means for you. Let's talk about what you can learn from this and apply to your next marketing campaign. Well, so first of all, I am not saying you should copy this. I am not saying, why don't you put up cryptic posters with an 800 number on it? Like, no, that is the exact opposite of what I'm saying. What you should take away from this campaign is that it all starts with the idea. Don't just copy what other people are doing it because it worked for someone else. You need to start with a unique idea that's going to cut through the noise, because look, we live in a world where everyone has one of these things. We can all pick that thing up at any time and access like a limitless amount of free content, right? So whatever you do from a marketing perspective has to cut through that noise. So it's got to be informative or entertaining or challenging or touching or funny or whatever. There's got to be something about it that makes me stop in the feed. It's got to cut through that noise, and that starts with a big idea. And that's what's missing from so many of the people that I talk to. So I get a lot of questions and DMs about this stuff. I also do like private coaching sessions where I'll review somebody's marketing plan, and I get a lot of the same questions that show me people don't understand this. People ask like, should we do Facebook ads, or should we put up posters, or should we do a lyric video, or should we do studio updates? And the answer is, if you're just doing it because somebody else did it, no. You have to stop and ask yourself, what's the big idea? What's the concept? Why would anybody give a fuck about this? Like, let's take lyric videos, for example. Now, back in 2010 or whatever, when people started doing those, it was different just to have like the animated flying text along with the song, because that was different than just a still image, which is what most videos were. So at the time, having animation was enough to cut through the noise. But then everybody started doing them, and it stopped being interesting. Now, what's different about yours? What is going to make yours cut through the noise? What is different about your lyric video compared to the 9 fucking million other ones, right? So if you can't answer that question, don't do it. Same thing with studio updates. I remember the first band that I can think of to do them, and they weren't the very first band, it's just the first one that I remember being distinctive. Attack Attack did them back when they were recording with Joey Sturgis. They were interesting just because I had never seen a band in that genre document like the production process before. So that was another case of you didn't have to overthink it because nobody else was doing it. Just the fact that they were doing these studio updates was itself noteworthy. But then again, everybody started doing them. This is what always happens. If someone has a good idea, everyone else copies it and ruins it. And so then you have to challenge yourself to think about what's next. So should you do a lyric video or Facebook ads or a studio update, you know, whatever? The answer is, I don't fucking know. What is the big idea? Why would anybody give a shit? Start with that. And then if it makes sense to include a lyric video in that campaign, if it makes sense to do a studio update, if it makes sense to do wheat pasting, if it makes sense to play a fucking show naked in a parking garage, then you should do it. I don't know. It all starts with the idea. That's why this Bring Me the Horizon campaign works, because there's an idea. There's a concept there. It's like, hey, what if we were starting a cult? They start with that idea of what if we were starting a cult, and then they think about how they bring it to life, right? They didn't start by looking at what, you know, Asking Alexandria did for their last album and go, Asking Alexandria put up posters for their last album, so we should put up posters too. No, they challenged themselves to come up with a unique, different idea that would cut through the noise, that would stand apart from what everybody else is doing. And one very important point here is that you do not need a big budget for this to work. Bring Me the Horizon's a huge band. They've got some budget to work with, so they can maybe do more elaborate things than a DIY band could, but you do not need a big budget. You just need a great idea. Another good example of this is my friend Drew Russ. He's a video director. He's done stuff with like Sleeping with Sirens and August Burns Red and Beartooth and Pierce the Veil, like every band in that kind of world you can think of. Some of the videos he's done, like he did the video for Second Sucks by A Day to Remember, that one probably had a big budget because they're a big band. It takes place in like an arcade and there's all these animations and it's got Chris Kirkpatrick from Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, whichever one it is. You know, that's a video that needed a big budget. But what's great about Drew is he never lets the budget be an excuse for doing the same old shit. He never settles for like, let's just have the band play in a fucking grimy warehouse. The world needs another band playing in a grimy warehouse like I need a fucking hole in the head, right? Drew always pushes himself to do something different and special and unique, even if there's not a lot of time or budget. So for example, I forget the song, but he did a Beartooth video where basically it's just the band breaking shit. Like they're smashing things in slow motion. That's the idea. It's that simple and people love it. That video was great. You don't have to overthink it. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a big budget. You just need to stop and challenge yourself to think of a good idea, to ask yourself, why would anybody give a fuck? That's what Bring Me the Horizon did. That's what makes this marketing campaign successful, that they started with that idea of what if we were starting a cult, and then they figured out how to bring it to life. There you go. Next time you are thinking about how to market whatever it is that you are doing, don't just check the boxes. Don't be lazy. Stop and ask yourself, like, how are we going to make this different? How are we going to cut through the noise? That's what's going to make you successful. All right, guys, I hope you found this insightful or informative or entertaining or whatever. I don't know. I hope you liked it. If you did, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed or for some bizarre, strange reason you do not want to subscribe, please like the video, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Anything you can do to help spread the word would be very much appreciated. And with that, I'm going to sign off for now, but I will see you next time.